team captain for the Alabama Crimson Tide, and former Carolina Panther, and his father, Corey Miller, the pastor of pain, a 9-year NFL veteran with the New York Giants, and University of South Carolina Hall of Famer. This is the Miller's Edge.
And welcome into this Monday edition of the Miller's Edge, Top 100.9, 1230 WTBC. Hope everybody is doing well. Hope you guys had a great weekend. A lot of stuff to dive into. Again, this is the Miller's Edge presented by the Good Feet Store, America's arch support experts. I want to remind you about them real quick because I just saw an email. I missed it last week, Chase, but really cool stuff. They've got a flyer going out. I think this week actually. It's over like 50,000 homes down in South Alabama. And I'm featured on it. So if you're in that South Alabama area, I know we've got a lot of listeners around that way. Obviously, a lot of listeners here in Alabama in general. But you might just get a Good Feet flyer with myself on. If you're wondering what the Good Feet store is, again, they are those premium arch supports that are designed to eliminate and alleviate all types of pain, whether it's foot pain, knee pain, back pain. If you're like me, maybe even Chase. I don't know. Well, Chase, yeah, you ran a lot of track. So I don't really know what body part would be like, I guess, related to you guys being sore like down the road. Maybe y'all's knees, I'd imagine. Anyway, if you're dealing with that pain, they've got these arch supports that literally are clinically proven to knock that pain out in just 4 short weeks. Clinically proven to do so. If you guys check out their website, goodfeet.com, you can read more about it. But I urge you guys to go check them out. If you go in their store, which is right here in Midtown Village in Tuscaloosa off of McFarland, I promise you, you won't be disappointed. They will take great care of you like they've taken great care of me. I mean, literally the customer service is first class. In the meantime, while you're waiting to get everything set up and they're going in the back, personalized fitting and all that good stuff. They've got foot massagers, all type of stuff. So you don't want to miss out on the Good Feet store. Again, that is the Good Feet store, improving the quality of people's lives 2 feet at a time. Plus, they are the presenting sponsors of the Miller's Edge. Excuse me. We are also live again for a second week straight right here live on YouTube. So shout out to everybody that is hanging out with us, that will be joining us. It's been fun. Last week was real cool, Chase. It's same old thing we're doing, 11-1 on Tide 100.9. But adding the stream has been cool because we can always throw stuff on the screen. If we're talking about something, Ricky called in last week, and he was talking about the Oklahoma game. All right, cool. We threw up the box score right there, and we broke it down as we discussed it. So if you guys do prefer the visual, remember you can always watch us live on YouTube at the Miller's Edge. We stream every day, Monday through Friday, 11-1, same time that we do the show. Plus, obviously, we can always do some more on the side as well. That being said, what do we have planned for today? Well, a couple of things. Definitely want to dive into some more of these post-spring lists. Obviously, we've been breaking them down, looking at teams across the SEC, across the country, other programs. Well, one of our friends, who matter of fact was a guest on our show last week, Josh Pate, he presented his post-spring top 20 rankings. And so we're going to hear from him and get his top 20 rankings. Now, obviously, when he joined the show, we got his thoughts on a couple of those teams, but he actually released a list, which he doesn't normally typically do. So we'll definitely dive into that, break that down. He's got a surprising choice at number 1. And we'll definitely talk about that and maybe look at them a little bit deeper as well. And news around here, softball has been selected to host a regional, which is really exciting. Baseball as well. That's really cool. So a lot of baseball and softball action here in Tuscaloosa if you guys are interested. So make sure you guys mark that on your calendar as well. If you're a wrestling fan, you had a PLE this past weekend. Shout out to I guess Chase. I'll be honest with you. I know you probably were watching that I guess main event, Randy Orton, John Cena last time. I was pretty solid. But other than that, man, waste of space. Really felt like it was just another episode of Raw. Really disappointing. Anyway, maybe we would talk about that. We have time later down the road in the show. 205-342-9904 is the number to the program. We want to get y'all's thoughts on everything that we're talking about. Make sure you guys hit us up, call in. We want to hear from you on the phone lines. You can always leave an app message on that Tide 100.9 app as well. But don't forget to download that app. It's completely free. Or if you're right here on the stream, you always can leave comments as well, and we will discuss it live on air. So that's where we're going to roll from. We're going to start with some more post-spring top 20 list, break these teams down, take a look around the SEC, around the country, and then we'll keep on rolling as the show goes on. But first, we got to take a quick time out. We come back. We'll keep on rolling right here on the Miller's Edge, Tide 100.9, 1230. WTBC, presented by the Good Feet Store, America's arch support experts. Quick time out. We'll be right back.
Don't buy your new or pre-owned Mercedes-Benz from anywhere other than Mercedes-Benz of Tuscaloosa. Their local team provides a 5-star buying experience and 5-star service. Shop local, Mercedes-of-Tuscaloosa.com, or go see them at 3200 Skyland Boulevard East, Tuscaloosa.
There's the, yes, I'd like some popcorn, yes. There's the, yes, my team won, yes. And then there's the yes you never forget. When you open a tiny box that says Fincher and Osmond, it's only second in line behind I do, but it's a yes you'll feel.
I don't know. We might have to let
toes.
that one sit for a minute.
I'm Tom Osmond, your jeweler at
see.
Fincher and Osmond Jewelers. Not so easy to find on McFarland, between Edgar's and local routes.
DQ presents how to hit summer's sweet spot. The new DQ Summer Blizzard Treat menu is here. And as the official treat of MLB, we're swinging big with our fan favorite S'mores Blizzard Treat. Plus, new mixing bowl mashup with brownie batter and chocolate chip cookie dough. And even more in our stacked summer lineup. Hurry in today because nothing says summer like baseball and our new Summer Blizzard Treat menu. Right now at DQ. Happy tastes good.
Good deal, man. Appreciate you joining us, Todd. And absolutely. Mike, what's going on? Best on YouTube. Roll Tide. How's POP? Good, man. Talked to him yesterday. Appreciate the compliment. Definitely appreciate that. He's doing good, though. Talked to him yesterday. He's doing a bunch of preaching. And he's kind of been busy with that. And he actually has his golf tournament for his ministry today. So he'll be busy with that today and tomorrow. But I think he said he might be making his way down here soon. So we'll see. But I'll definitely have to get him on the show. Probably Wednesday or something when he finishes with his golf tournament, because that's always going to keep him busy. Yeah, man. Good deal. What else we got? And if y'all see anything that comes up, man, feel free to drop it in the chat. Some news or anything you guys want us to break down. We're going to start with this this post-spring rankings list from Josh. Had an interesting pick at number 1. And he had Alabama in an interesting spot. So we definitely want to talk about 0% that. For let's see. And if you guys missed it when we had him on here last week, you can always go back. The streams stay up, so you can go back and watch it. I think it was Thursday. So it was the Thursday show, which would have been maybe, the 8th? But really good interview. Yes, sir. That's right. All right, we got about 20, 30 seconds. You guys know the drill. If you haven't already, man, drop us a like. That helps us out. Subscribe if you like watching the show. Stay up to date with everything. And then again, if you guys got any things, topics, whatever you guys want us to hit, man, drop it in the comment box. I haven't really seen anything crazy today.
The venue, Tuscaloosa.
Let's see. All right, 10 seconds.
Storms this afternoon and tonight. The high today.
What's up, Brock? How do you feel about the team this year? Great question. We'll definitely hit that.
I'm James Spann on the ABC.
I'll definitely hit that.
This is Miller's Edge on Tide 100.9.
And welcome back into this Monday edition of the Miller's Edge, Tide 100.9, 1230 WTBC, presented by the Good Feet Store, America's arch support experts. Hope everybody's doing great. Hope you guys had a great weekend, great Mother's Day weekend. Shout out to all the mothers out there. Totally forgot. I don't even know if we hit that Friday. So happy belated Mother's Day as well. Chase, I think we should go ahead and run with this this Josh Pate college football post-spring rankings list. And let me preface before we jump into it. Again, Josh Pate, who we had on the show last Thursday, he gave us some of his thoughts, but I guess today he actually unveiled his top 20 ranking. And so I definitely want to break it down. I saw who he had at number 1. I saw where he had us at. If you guys are seeing the thumbnail on YouTube, you can probably get an idea on where this is going. But I definitely thought it was interesting. I think we'll definitely get some good responses after we discuss it. So without further ado, Chase, let's go ahead and start there. Plus, I will say we've got Brock in the comments here who says he asked a good question. How do I feel about the team this year? I'm going to let Josh give his rankings list here. We'll listen to that. Then we come back. I want to respond to where he ranked us. Plus, I'll give my response to that. So without further ado, Chase, let's go ahead and hear from our buddy Josh Pate with Josh Pate's College Football Show and get his post-spring college football top 20 rankings.
I don't normally do rankings. I really couldn't care less about rankings. I do the power rating stuff, but that's for in the season, I guess. Trey hit us from Little Rock. He said, I'm seeing a lot of analysts putting out post-spring rankings. What say you? Or are you going to hide behind the JP poll? I don't even see a poll in here, Immunity. I don't see the JP poll anywhere. I can't hide behind something that doesn't exist. Trey, the JP poll is for much closer to the season. So you say a lot of people are putting out rankings. So since Trey said it, I went and looked. And it does turn out, Jesse and Colin, that a lot of people in our space are putting out rankings. Now, we like to pride ourselves as being leaders more so than followers. Most of the time, I have no clue what's even happening outside of these walls. But in the interest of keeping with the times, per se, I'm not going to do it fashion-wise, but in keeping with the times content-wise, why not? Why not try this out? And if it goes poorly, oh well. It's the middle of May. Only our diehard P1 crowd is here this time of year anyway. So I'm going to give it to you right now. I'm going to go top 20 if that's okay. And I'm going to try and snap through these pretty quickly or else this could turn into a 45-minute segment. My number 1 team in the country coming out of spring, the Clemson Tigers. Quarterback returns. OC returns. DC returns. Dabo's back, so the head coach returns as well. I just feel like they've built towards 2025. I felt like last year you could feel that momentum sort of later in the year, South Carolina game notwithstanding. But the thing that I pay attention to with them, best wide receiver room I've seen them have in several years, and they've got NFL talent on every level of the defense. I'm really high on Clemson this year. And the reason I'm doing this, the reason I'm putting them number 1 is because I do not want to hear anyone in that program talk about how no one saw them coming and everyone doubted them. If they go on to do something of significance this year, I want to stand next to Dabo Swinney and I want to say, we were underdogs. He and I were underdogs because outside of me, no one else believed in him. I'm pretty sure a lot of other people are going to believe in him too. Second team, or I guess we would call that number 2. The number 2 team, Texas. Really, really high on Texas. I was just out there last week. It's Steve Sarkisian's first wave. Like when you think of a coach taking over a program, you want him to win immediately, yes, and then especially year 2, year 3. But it's really when you get that 4th and beyond year, you start to have your waves hitting the beach, hitting the shore. The waves of guys that you recruited and they've known only your program. They didn't play for some other coach and you. And so they've been just raised in an environment that you cultivated, and that is Steve Sarkisian this year. And so while they're replacing a lot of talent, they portaled very well. They are lethal in talent acquisition there. I believe in Arch Manning. A lot of stuff's going to be said about him. I just believe he'll play at a high enough level. It's almost a boring headline. I believe he'll play at a high enough level for them to win, and I trust him. I implicitly trust them. And so I'm going to put him as high as number 2. I think they could win the national title this year. Number 3 team, who I'm told some people have number 1. I'm not mad at it. I got Penn State number 3 right now. They've just got all the usual elements of themselves. Penn State's the most mischaracterized program in the country. They have been for a while. Here's the reality. They have floated in the 4 to 10 range in terms of average quality of team any given year. Last year, probably a little bit higher than normal. But that's where they've been. What have they lacked? Well, they've lacked difference makers at wide receiver to get them over the hump in a few big games. And it seems to me they've taken as good a steps as they've taken in several years under James Franklin to address that. They did it via the portal. But if they've got that, I don't doubt them defensively. They just brought Jim Knowles in for good measure. I don't doubt their running game. I don't doubt them on the O-line. They've got a third-year starter at quarterback now. So there's a lot that I know I can depend on. The floor's pretty high with them. But if I'm going to put them up at number 3, you notice that's ahead of Ohio State. That's ahead of Oregon. Well, that means I think that they can win the Big Ten, which means I think they can get over the proverbial hump that they haven't gotten over. And you would be correct, because I do believe that about them. Another team that I believe in strongly this year, I believe in Alabama. Got them all the way up at number 4. I think the personnel is just pretty dramatically upgraded from last year. Specifically, could have one of, if not the best wide receiver rooms in that conference, could have one of, if not the best defensive back rooms in that conference. But above and beyond that, I was sort of disappointed with them and Georgia both in how poorly they ran the ball relative to the standards of those teams and those programs usually. And I think with Ryan Grubb coming in as their offensive coordinator, more so than scheme change or, play design improvement or anything like that, I just think the collective attitude and identity of the offense will be much easier to figure out. They seem kind of schizophrenic week to week last year. Hey, quick timeout. Check and see if you're subscribed to the channel. If you're not, make sure you do. It's free. It doesn't obligate you or sign you up for anything. It just helps us keep the channel free. All right, back to the show. And that doesn't fall on one person. Popular though it may be to suggest that, it doesn't just fall on one person, coach or player. So I'm really high on Alabama, and I think the returning production and the guys that could have gone to the portal or could have gone to the NFL and have come back, it's kind of a version of what Ohio State had happen last year. Everybody talked about it at the finish line for Ohio State, but really we were talking about it in summer when we went up there, because that's what Ryan Day kept talking about. The outside world was all about the portal additions, and he said, look at the guys who just returned for us that have been here 3 or 4 years. If we win, that'll be the reason we win. They won. That was the reason they won. Number 5 team, LSU, got him in the top 5. Really high on LSU as well. It's Garrett Nussmeier in an ocean of uncertainty at the quarterback position in his conference. I've got certainty that LSU can win with their guy. I've got certainty he is surrounded by proper skill set. They just signed the number 1 portal class in the country. And Blake Baker, defensively, year 2 with coordinator, plus the players that he has, and again, through the portal that they didn't necessarily have last year, should be able to put together a quantumly improved overall unit on the field. Not to mention, I just think he's one of the best in the country at his job. There is a layer of unknown because of how dependent they were on the portal. I believe they effectively address their needs, above and beyond, address their needs to the point where I think they can really, really compete for playoff spot and beyond this year. Number 6, this is where I've got Notre Dame right now. Love the nucleus, love the identity of the program. So the quarterback position is going to get all the attention. Riley Leonard leaves, and typically in this sport, when you've got a departing quarterback and the guy who's going to take over for him, in this case, CJ Carr, hasn't really started, it's a big question mark. And yes, it is for Notre Dame as well. Here's the thing you need to remember, though. Sometimes questions get answered in the affirmative, so he could be really good. And also, as much as that may be a question mark, the ceiling is higher this year on the quarterback position than it has been the last couple of years there. So for everyone who wants to label it a question mark and it could be a bust, well, okay, but it could be a question mark and he ends up playing better than anyone Marcus Freeman's had there so far. I know he's going to have the ground game. I know that I trust them at Notre Dame to be able to backfill, even losing a coordinator and losing some talent defensively. So the ceiling, or the floor is pretty high for that team as well, and I think the ceiling still is. I've gotten to Oregon here. I've got Oregon at number 7, post-spring. There is a lot of unknown still here, but like I just said with the Notre Dame quarterback situation, you can apply that across the board for Oregon. Yeah, they just brought in some portal pieces on the offensive line, but they're really, really high ceiling types. Dante Moore hasn't been their guy at quarterback yet, but yet they signed a really highly rated kid out of high school this last cycle, and that kid watched Dante Moore in practice a couple of days and said, yeah, I'm out of here. So Dante Moore, extremely high ceiling as well. But if you just look at the overall totality of the roster there, the reason, even with question marks, you can't go much lower than this for Oregon is because the roster is just littered with blue chip talent. because that's what they've done up there. Recruiting, high school, portal. There are very few places where you look and say, there's a question mark on Oregon's roster or Oregon's depth chart, and there are no former 4- and 5-star kids in that position room. Doesn't mean they'll all pan out, but knowing that program developmentally, it's likely a bunch of them will. So I've got them there. Running back 1, excellent. Wide receiver 1, excellent. Ohio State, I'd put right behind them at number 8. Tons of questions here, but the raw talent and makeup of the personnel is such that even if there's a question mark at virtually every position, you can't go much lower than this. And this is kind of post-spring. You know, when you get into fall camp and you start getting more definitive reports on these guys, it's likely that even in a rankings format, you kind of start to elevate Ohio State. They may not, look, there's no maybe. They won't be a finished product or anywhere close to that in week 1. The team you see in week 1 against Texas will be a far cry from the team you see against Michigan at the end of the season. But you lose a quarterback, you lose OC and DC, and you lose so much talent to the NFL. It's very natural that you got questions. Doesn't matter how highly you recruit. Everyone's got questions like that. So I put Ohio State at number 8. Now, this is where we're going to get accused of trying to be sensationalists. I'm really not. It's just you need to understand before Colin even shows you who this is, you need to understand how my mind works on this stuff. Even though I'm not power rating, even though we're ranking, I do not rank you merely on where you left off last year. I think about what I expect you to be this year at the start of the season, and that's where I rank you. So just psychologically think through this. Let's say you're a high-achieving program, but last year's team wasn't that great record-wise. You have the least incentive imaginable to keep doing what you were doing, right? Now, that doesn't mean the changes you make will work, but it does mean inevitably there will be a lot of changes. So some of the last logic that I buy into when it comes to highly regarded programs that put bad teams on the field the previous year is, oh, it'll just be more of the same. No, man, they turn over every rock. They adjust every knob and every lever. They leave no stone unturned. So I got 2 of them in a row. It actually just sort of happened this way. I got 2 of them in a row here that had poor records last year that I think will be top 10 caliber teams this year. Florida is one of them. I got Florida at number 9 because I said the other day, some of you thought I misspoke. I didn't. I think that they're one of the few teams in the country that has the potential, personnel-wise, to be a top 10, top 15 caliber on either side of the ball sort of team. Not a guarantee. It's just that there's a handful any given year that you say, hey, if everything pans out for them, that team could be top 10, top 15, both sides of the ball. Florida actually can be that. It's May, so it remains to be seen if they will. But if we're ranking on potential here, if I've got a healthy quarterback down there, Lagway could be one of the best in the country. I felt like generally the program's been trending towards this being a year that it needs to really pop. Defense is young, but I think that's a really, really high upside sort of side of the ball. And I trust him to be able to run the ball. Therefore, I trust him to be able to control games this year. I'm just really high on Florida. And another one probably I think is the most overlooked of the major conference teams heading into the summer is Oklahoma. I'm higher on Oklahoma than anybody is. I think it could be a top 10 team coming into the season. Not one of those wait and see sort of things, because I believe in the quarterback OC addition that much. I believe in Mateer and Arbuckle and their addition to that team that much that I look around last year. Guys, if they were on that team last year, I would think they would have competed and contended. So I think I'm going to have another top 15, let's just call it a top 20 to be conservative, caliber defense. Man, if that offensive line is in decent shape, it's going to be a really tough team to beat. Now, several teams will have their shot because they play, I think, the toughest schedule in the country, but this isn't about that. This is just about the caliber team I think you'll field to start the season. So the top 10 there is Clemson, Texas, Penn State, Bama, LSU, Notre Dame, Oregon, Ohio State, Florida, Oklahoma. I would say, Jesse, again, I don't pay a whole lot of attention to what others have put out there. I would say Oklahoma's probably going to raise some eyebrows. I think Florida will raise some eyebrows because Georgia's not in there. So I think them being above Georgia, them being above, we'll see. I don't want to spoil it because we are going to go 10 through 20 here or 11 through 20. But I think those will raise some eyebrows. LSU's high for most people. I think Bama's a little higher. I doubt a lot of people have Clemson number 1, but that's okay. It's rankings. I would ask you guys, just quickly, if I were to have put out the actual order of finish last year as my preseason rankings in May, do you know how stupid it would have looked? In fact, any given year, look at the way the season pans out. If anyone would have put that order of teams any given year in December out on your screen in May, how crazy would it have looked? So inevitably, things aren't going to go pure chalk all year long. So that's why I don't think anything's crazy this time of year. Well, I don't think anything I'm putting out is crazy. It's a fair statement. Let's continue.
Good deal. And that was Josh Pate's top 10. So we'll stop right there for now because I want to respond. I know we've got some callers lined up, some app messages rolling in. So let's do this, Chase. Let's go ahead and take a quick timeout. We come back. We'll respond to Josh Pate's top 10 post-spring college football rankings again. A little bit of a surprise at number 1, at least for me. I know they've a lot of people have had Clemson high, but he had them at number 1. But the good news is for us Alabama fans, Josh Pate's showing Alabama some love. He's got them in the top 5 coming at number 4. We're going to take a quick timeout. When we come back, we're responding to this and more, all coming up right here on the Miller's Edge, Top 100.9, 1230. WTBC, presented by the Good Feet Store, America's Arch Sport experts. We'll be right back.
365, 24/7. You'll find road and utility crews, tow truck, law enforcement, and first responders working along Alabama's roadway.
We're making
All right. So we got through that top 10. Initial thoughts on that, guys? You can still see it on the screen if you're, obviously, but we're on break, so you guys can see it. Clemson at 1. We've been talking about a lot of people being high on Clemson, but he's got them at 1 in comparison to, let's say, ESPN, their post-spring. Again, these are all just post-spring. This is just something fun to look at, right? All subjective. But a lot of people showing Penn State love. Obviously, he still did that, but he had Clemson way up there. Now, ESPN did have Clemson at 2, so not too far off. Excuse me. And we talked about why, right? A lot of people are really high on their the talent that they have going into this season. But Bama at 4, that might be the highest I've seen Bama on any pundit's post-spring list, to be honest with you. But we're definitely going to respond. I want to get y'all's thoughts. I'll respond my thoughts too. Does he have Bama too high? Let's see. We'll talk about that. Any thoughts on the team this year through spring? Yeah, that's good. I'll hit that one, and I got to hit Brock's. I can kind of couple those together, but we'll definitely we'll hit those when we come back live on air for sure. Because, yeah, I definitely have some post-spring thoughts for sure. Kenji said, yeah, I was surprised to see Clemson at 1. Yeah, I figured they'd be top 5, but 1, he's going in on them. But the usual, honestly, though, those 3 have been hovering around that top 5 on most lists. I'll go over here to this ESPN. It's on On3's website, but this is it's from ESPN. But and obviously it's probably just somebody from ESPN. It's one person, one of the many people that they have. Penn State, Clemson, Texas, Georgia, which I'm with Josh. And, pretty much everything he said to us last week about Alabama. He echoed that on here. And he actually was with me with the whole Georgia thing. He didn't have Georgia in his top 10. I think if you actually look at Georgia for what they are, not just for what they've been, I think a lot of people would understand why you might have them on the outside looking in right now. Ohio State 5, LSU 6, Notre Dame 7, Oregon 8, Bama 9, and BYU 10. So, all right, here we go. We're about to come back live. Go back to this, though. And welcome back into this Monday edition of Miller's Edge, time 100.9, 1230 WTBC, presented by the Good Feet Store, America's Arch Support Expert. Hope everybody is doing well. We just heard from our buddy Josh Pay. He broke down his post-spring rankings. He did a top 20, I think, but right now we're stopping with the top 10. And just to go back over that, if you're just tuning in or you missed it or need a refresher, Clemson number 1, Texas number 2, Penn State number 3, Alabama number 4. So Alabama in a really good spot on Josh Pate's list. 5 LSU, 6 Notre Dame, 7 Oregon, 8 Ohio State, 9 Florida, 10 Oklahoma. So he's got 2 SEC teams on there that might come as some shockers for some. But obviously, he's really high on Lagway, their quarterback over at Florida. Makes sense. And LSU, he's big on transfer portal additions. Loves the fact that Nussmeier's probably one of the most, I don't know, reliable quarterbacks coming back. I guess you could put it in that sense. But want to get y'all's thoughts on this. 205-342-9904. Again, Alabama at number 4. To me, Chase, I'm not gonna lie, I think, would I say it's too high? I wouldn't say it's too high. I think it's it's definitely higher than I probably would say just right now. Again, if I'm just being realistic, but potential wise, I mean, I definitely think we could end up finishing around that range for sure. We'll see how the schedule plays out this year and all that, obviously. But going into the year, I mean, I definitely would have Alabama top 10. 4 might be a little bit high for me right now. But again, this is all subjective, all preseason list, and it's just fun to break it down. That being said, since we're only a few minutes from this next break, Chase, let's go ahead and hit an @ message. That way we give Tommy plenty of time when we come back and we go to the phone lines. So I think the first one we got was from Ricky. Chase, what did Ricky have to say?
Yeah, Ricky said Penn State, Notre Dame, South Carolina, Clemson, Alabama, Texas, Ole Miss, Arizona State, Ohio State, Florida, Oklahoma, Georgia, Michigan, Texas A&M, and Oregon. My top 15 is based on coaching changes as well as roster changes, in parentheses, post-spring, of course. And Ole Miss probably should be higher. Their backup QB last year could have easily been QB1.
Interesting. I'm not going to lie. That list went kind of quick, Chase. Who is it? Just go over the top 5 real quick. Let me start there.
Yeah, most definitely. My bad, Christian.
No. You're good. No, I was trying to listen to them and remember them. And then when I was trying to remember the first few, you were saying the other ones. I was like, oh crap! I'm just going to get them to reread it. What was the first 5?
Yeah. So number 1, we got Penn State.
Okay.
Number 2 is Notre Dame.
Notre Dame. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Number 3 is South Carolina.
Oh wow! Yeah. Okay. I was about to say. I thought I was here. I'm like, hold on. Did I hear that right?
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Number 4 is Clemson. And then number 5 is Alabama.
So he had Bama at 5, South Carolina at 3. South Carolina at 3 is definitely a very bold take. I don't hate it though. I definitely don't hate it. I mean, look, I think they definitely have the potential to kind of shock some people. I mean, I think people know they're expected to be a good team, but putting them at 3 is like that's saying they're elite this upcoming year. I mean, they've got pieces. I'd have to go back and look at their schedule too. I don't know their schedule off the top of my head. Yeah. Let's hear what's 6 through 10, Chase.
Yeah. Number 6 is Texas.
Okay.
Number 7 is Ole Miss.
Mm-hmm.
Number 8 would be Arizona State. Number 9 would be Ohio State. And then number 10 would be Florida.
Okay, so he's with Pate with the whole Florida thing. Huh. Interesting. Yeah, that's Ricky, I mean, that's an interesting list for sure. I mean, obviously the thing that really grabbed my attention, South Carolina at 3. Ricky, I might need you to drop another @ message or call in or something. Actually, if you got time, call in. I want you to break that down for me. I want to hear you. I know you did. You said coaching changes, roster updates, all that. But you've got my attention now. I want to hear where you came up with some of these. Not that they're bad. I'm just curious. That's bold, though. My dad would love that. South Carolina at 3. It's a little high for me, but interesting. Just in the chat says, I told you a couple days ago I thought UA should be ranked number 4. Well, you might have read Josh's mind. I would probably right now, let me wait till I drop my 5 or 10. I'm going to do my top 5 or 10. I don't know if I'll do it today. If we get enough time, I might do it. If not, we'll save it for tomorrow. But Bama at 4, again, obviously, I mean, I'm an Alabama fan. I love it. But personally, I probably would have them a little bit behind, just a little bit, not much though, just a little bit. All right. That being said, let's hit one more. I'm gonna hit a chat message real quick before we hit this next break. First one was from who was it from? I'm sorry, I just drew a blank. Oh, it's from Brock. Brock says, "How do I feel about the team this year?" Great question. I'll say this, Brock. I definitely think we should be better than last year. I would imagine so. Just like I'm going to echo some of the things that Josh said that we discussed last week. I think the receiver room is much improved this year. And I think that's going to be a huge difference maker. I always fall back on the offensive line. But in my opinion, I mean, from what I've seen out of them, I know they rotated some guys at some different spots. We'll see how they all come together. I really like Brailsford. I know a lot of people don't talk about him as much, but I'm telling you, he is a really good football player. Little undersized. He's obviously put on some muscle. I mean, he's not the biggest guy, but you talk about technique and just doing his job. I mean, I think he's going to be one of these guys that you don't really hear a bunch of hype. Obviously, we're hearing about Caden Proctor being mocked in the first round as high as number 1 overall, which is great. I mean, I think a lot of people look at, 3-year starter, a lot of potential, which all that is true. I don't see him being a number 1 overall pick. I will say that. I don't. I mean, to be taken at number 1 overall over the quarterbacks and all that stuff, I mean, that's tough. I think the last time a tackle was taken number 1 overall was like 2013, so over 10 years ago. Could be wrong, but I think that was the stat I saw last week. And you literally got to – I mean, you just got to be that dude, plug-in ready, like franchise offensive tackle. I think Proctor's more of a really, obviously he's got a ton of potential, high upside, but he doesn't strike me as we're putting him in here day 1, left tackle in the league, and he's – the guy right now. But I will say this, I think, all the attention on him is overshadowing a guy like Brailsford, who I think by the end of the year, you'll hear his name. Kind of like Jihad, right? Jihad was overshadowed by Deontay a lot earlier in the year. I was saying here on the show a year ago around this time, like, Jihad's going to be my pick to really have that type of year. End up being right. So I would probably say something similar. Now, I'm not saying Brailsford gets drafted higher than Proctor, because left tackle, center, I mean, yeah, they both can go high, but I'd argue left tackles probably have a little bit more of a premium to them. But that being said, I think offensive line will be improved. And if they are improved, big expectations for this offense, especially like with Pate saying Grubb coming back. I think it's a number of things. The attitude and the identity, I'd imagine, will be a lot better, but also I just feel like there should be more consistency, a lot more, I don't know, in my opinion, a guy like Grubb calling this system versus Sheridan, who, again, there's no knock on Sheridan, but he wasn't even expected to be the coordinator just last minute. Grubb leaves, he's moved up. Maybe he had a little bit more on his plate than he might have been ready for. Again, no knock on him, just being honest. Then defensively, I think we can build off some of the stuff we do. I really need to see some pass rush step up, and I think I'd feel a lot better about the defense. That being said, how do I feel about the team overall? I feel good about them, and I think we'll have a really good year this upcoming year, but I think it's entirely up to those guys to go out there and put it all together. I mean, as a team, I mean, I think they've got good chemistry coming out of the spring. The spring went solid. I thought the coaches looked a lot more comfortable this time around than they did last year, which makes total sense. And I mean, I'm going to even challenge them. I think more adjustments need to be made. I mean, I think this year they should have a better idea of, what's coming their way now that they've got a year under their belt in this league. And so I think they need to kind of, take that next step as well. And if they do that, players and coaches obviously will be much better this year. So that's kind of my initial thoughts. I think the receiver room's really good. I'm expecting big things out of them. I think that the secondary could be one of the best in the conference for sure, without a doubt. And the linebacker room, I mean, should be solid with the additions of Deontay and Jefferson coming back. And up front, I think we're solid. I still don't see those elite guys just yet, but I think we still have a really solid group up front. The only thing I would say is I would just love to see more true pass rush, like some guys really getting after it, some guys that you can call on those third down, third and long situations where you got to go get it, that they're going to win their one-on-ones. That would make me feel better. So those are just some of my quick initial thoughts. All right, let's hit this timeout, Chase. When we come back, we keep on rolling, keep on breaking down these post-spring rankings. We'll keep discussing Josh Pate's list. Plus, go to you guys. We got plenty of app messages, plenty of calls to get to, and all that's coming right up right here on the Miller's Edge, Tide 100.9, 1230 WTBC. I guess that kind of hits your thoughts, or excuse me, your question too, Todd. Thoughts on the team through spring, but yeah, I mean, kind of just echoing the same thing. I know it starts to get redundant, but receiver room, great, right? I mean, I could try to put grades on them at some point, but receiver room, DB room, really strong. I feel really strong about that. Really, like I said, the biggest things really is offensive line. How much can they improve? I expect them to be improved, but how much will they be improved this year? It's going to be a huge, huge part of this offense and this team. And then defensively, there's a couple things. I mean, you go back and look. I got to go back and look at our stats. But if you just look at, I mean, stopping the quarterback run game last year was really bad. That's got to be improved, and that's something you can fix. But that's got to be better, and that's both from a player and coaching perspective. Coaches got to call things better. I mean, I went back because I was talking about it last week. Last week I went back and looked, and I was just thinking about Oklahoma, Vanderbilt. I mean, quarterback running game was killing us, right? And some of that, I mean, look, I'm just going to call spade a spade. Some of that was on the calls that we were calling, or lack of, in adjustments. That's got to be better. But from a personnel standpoint, I mean, defensively, I mean, DBs, they check the boxes. Linebackers check the boxes. You know what you're getting, right? You got your two guys coming back, just missing Jihad, which is a big piece, but you still got some solid depth there, I believe. And then up front, I mean, really like LT Overton, excited about him. If James Smith can finally take that next step, I mean, he's got all the potential in the world, man. It's just on him, man. He's got to put it all together. Let's see who else. When I look at like that, like the Wolf, right, which is like what I would have played, outside linebacker, Jack, same thing. We pulled up the depth chart, man. You got Quay Russaw. I mean, who's a dog? But what I don't see on this team is just like that Tim Williams type, you know what I mean? Like, or even like a Dallas Turner, like just somebody that's just got that pass rush gene to them, you know what I mean? Like that's what they do. I don't really see anybody. I will say this. If anybody has the potential to be that guy, let me pay attention to the thing. I'm over here about to run over.
Steel fabrication.
Okay, we're still on a break. If anybody has that potential, I think it's that kid from JUCO. Cavante, what is his? I always forget these guys' names, man. Let me pull it up. What is his name? I always forget this guy's name. Cavante Henry, that's what it is. If anybody's got like that type of skill set, yeah, Cavante Henry. Thanks, Brock.
Tonight 60.
I mean, you got like Noah Card. Noah Card. He's got the skill set. We're talking about this year. I mean, could he put it together? I mean, sure, maybe, but watching that Cavante guy, I mean, that dude, he's impressive. I'm not gonna lie.
100.9.
And welcome back into this Monday edition of Miller's Edge, Tide 100.9, 1230 WTBC. Hope everybody is doing well. We've been discussing Josh Pate's post-spring top 20 list. We went over the top 10 again. Clemson coming in at number 1, Alabama at number 4. Obviously, that's really good to hear if you're an Alabama fan. We heard Ricky's top 15 list. He has South Carolina. He showed South Carolina a lot of love. I definitely like South Carolina going in this year, but 3, that's definitely high for my liking. But I respect it, and would love to hear you really break that down if you got time. Chase, since we still are a little bit, I guess not behind, but you get my drift. I don't want to just give Tommy 4 minutes and he's got to get out of here. So I'm gonna save Tommy for when we come back from this top of the hour break. So let's just roll with another app message for now. Tommy, I appreciate you being patient, man. Let's see what Tia had to say in her app message, Chase.
Yes, sir. Tia said, I think the defensive MVP last year of the team was Jihad Campbell. Could it be debatable, but going into this season, who do you guys think is the best defensive player on the roster?
That's a really good question. Well, let me just let me tip my own hat real quick, because last year, Chase, I said my pick last year, I'm almost positive. I could be wrong, but I'm almost positive my pick was Jihad, because I remember we played this game, and I was all in on Jihad last year. Not it's like a broken record, but what it was just seeing how this new defense was going to allow him really just be an athlete, already knowing the athlete that he was. And then when I realized, all right, there's the opportunity for this guy to even work down at outside linebacker as well and get some pass rush reps, having him in some blitz packages maybe. Like, he's a defensive coordinator's dream. So I was going off of that, and I was like, yeah, I'm going to pick Jihad, and ended up coming to fruition. This year, oh, man, that's a really good question. Best player on defense. So basically, who would my pick be for defensive MVP this year? Man, let's work front to back. Up front, you got guys like LT Overton. I mean, he's very productive. I mean, he's gonna make plays. If he finished more, again, we looked at his stats last year. I think it was like 2 sacks, something like that, Chase. Obviously, he's got room for way more production. And production isn't only what pops up on the stat sheet. I mean, it could be pressures, it could be all type of things. But I expect him to be very productive. I mean, I think he could have a big year for sure. I mean, you're never going to pick a nose tackle. I love Tim Keenan, but you're not going to pick a nose tackle there. James Smith, like I just was mentioning, if he comes along, I really could see him being disruptive, but I wouldn't go with him with my pick. I like Quay Russo a lot. He's a dog. Physical edge setter, got some, disruptiveness to him, can rush the passer. But I don't know. I mean, I feel like Justin Jefferson could really have a strong year, man. I'm thinking about Justin, and we pulled up his stats. I mean, in a role where he was like that third backer, right? He played a lot. He played a lot of snaps, but he wasn't even like, obviously Jihad, Deontay, they were like your premier guys, and Justin also was playing a whole bunch. But what I'm getting at is he's going to see an increased role. He's going to see increased reps. I mean, if you look at his numbers, we pulled him up. Let's pull up his numbers real quick. In that limited role, and I say limited, it's not like he didn't play a lot. Excuse me. He played a lot, but you get my point. He didn't play as much as some of the other guys, but he still was able to put up some really nice stats. And obviously, if you just turn on the tape, I mean, you can see why. The dude flies around. He's athletic as hell. I like him a lot, and I liked him since we got him. I remember his first spring. He was really impressive. But last year, I mean, in limited time he played, 61 total tackles, 2 sacks, forced fumble. And now you're talking about stepping up into more of a full-time role. I'm liking Justin Jefferson, but let's carry on. I mean, the DB room, you got Damani, who's a dog in that secondary. You got Keon Sabb coming back. Hell, even Bray Hubbard. I mean, you heard Kane Womack talk about it. He forced a takeaway in every single game that he's played or started last year. And that's a big deal. I mean, that's a big number right there. That's a tough question. Tia always gives us these tough – they're really good questions, but they always really make you think. Let's see what else we got. I see I think Brock said Jeremiah Beeman. Hey, you're on to something. They're really high on Jeremiah Beeman. He's going to play a lot this year. I think he's going to end up making a push for a lot of snaps too, to be honest with you. Now I wouldn't pick him as my MVP right here, obviously, but in terms of making an impact across the defensive line, a guy that you haven't really heard too many people talk about, yeah, you definitely want to keep an eye out for him. They're really high on him. I mean, that dude has been playing some really good football. And I know you got Tim Keenan and LT, and you even got James Smith, but Jeremiah Beeman is definitely a name. Even Edric, everybody's high on. Kelby, I see y'all mention him up front. Kelby, I mean, he's definitely going to be a good player. I mean, we got a lot of good depth. But I mean, I like LT, more than him. Keon has been making some huge strides. He'll definitely finally start scratching that surface and seeing that hard work pay off for sure. Man, that's a good question, Chase. I'll let you have during the break to think on yours, man. But for me, you got ZB, you got Damani in that secondary. Let me think on that, Tia. Let me think on that. But off the top of my head, I'm feeling Justin Jefferson on my pick for kind of stepping in that role of being one of the most productive guys. This system is very linebacker friendly. Those guys obviously get a lot of opportunities, and just with his skill set, with an increased role, building off what he did last year, I feel like I like him as that pick. But let me think on that, because we got to hit this top of the hour break. So I'm going to think on that. Really good question. If you guys want to respond to that too, I'd love to see y'all's picks. Everybody listening on the radio or in the chat, who is y'all's pick to be defensive MVP for this upcoming season? Really good question. Thanks to Tia. So go ahead and let that one sit with you for a minute. All right. We're going to hit this top of the hour break. When we come back, we keep on rolling. We go to the phone lines, 205-342-9904, and more, all coming up right here on the Miller's Edge, Tide 100.9, 1230, WTBC, presented by the Good Feet Store, America's Art Sport Experts.
WTBC Tuscaloosa and W265CG Tuscaloosa, a Town Square media station.
Yeah, what do y'all think about that? That's a really good question. It's tough, man. Last year I felt better about Jihad also, just because I don't know. Maybe the seniority thing thrown in there too. I mean, you talk about seniority, I guess Justin definitely has that coming back. Yeah, I'm leaning towards him, man. But just only cause like look, if we had somebody up front, like a true edge, like that I really felt confident in, I would maybe lean there. I just feel like, there's so many guys you could pick, and honestly, it's going to be hard to really. Damani, ZB. They're going to be big impact guys. Excuse me. But in terms of like defensive MVP, I think it's clear we all can agree. We would say Jihad was a defensive MVP last year, right? I guess we should probably start there. We all agree on that. Let me go back to this depth chart. Here, I'll put on here for you guys to see too. Yeah, who's y'all's picks for defensive MVP? I'm curious. I like Renaud too, man. They got a lot of good depth. That's tough, man. That's tough. You got to like Deontay as well, but he's going to be coming off injury, so he might be a little bit slower coming back. Not physically, but you guys get what I'm saying. Like coming off injury sometimes takes a little second to get going. Not to mention they might have him a little bit more limited early on in the year. I'm not entirely sure, but it wouldn't shock me. I like Xavier Brown and Damani, as picks too. Honestly, you can't go wrong there. That's why it's tough. I guess we're trying to say like, who's going to be the guy, right? I don't know. Maybe you got to lean towards the Keon Sabb coming back. By the season, he should be full 100% healthy. He went down a while ago. He was playing some dang good football too. He's a really good player. I don't know. Maybe I need to lean towards him. Maybe that's tough. Yeah, I agree. I mean, Xavier's gonna have a dang good year.
5'2", 9.
I just wouldn't sleep on Damani either, though. I'm telling you, Damani's. I mean, they're both so good. I mean, that one's almost like a toss up, really. But Xavier definitely, he definitely stands out, especially with him being a young guy. All right, let's see. Here we go. About to come back. And welcome back into Miller's Edge, Tide 100.9, 1230 WTBC. Hope everybody is doing well on this Monday now afternoon. Just hit that top of the hour break. Hour number 2 officially underway. We've been talking about Josh Pate's top 20 teams post-spring. We listened to the top 10 again. Clemson, Texas, Penn State, Alabama, LSU lead the charge, followed by Notre Dame, Oregon, Ohio State, Florida, and Oklahoma. We've been discussing it. Plus, we just ended hour number 1 with a really good question by Tia, top defensive player for this upcoming year. I think it's safe to say, Chase, we can agree that Jihad probably was the MVP last year. So I'm going to pat myself on the back. I got that one right. So I'm trying to carefully choose this one because I'm competitive, man. I want to be right again. But we're looking right here over on the YouTube stream. We've got the depth chart pulled up for defense. It's tough, man. There's a lot of good choices here. And I feel like everybody's going to have some really solid impact. It's just who's going to be, I guess, who's going to have the biggest impact. It's tough. I mean, a lot of people in the chat, they like Xavier Brown. I think him and Damani Jackson are good choices there. I was even looking at, thinking about this, Chase. Keon Sapp coming back. He's a dog, and we know how productive he can be. He started the year off strong. Obviously, it's hard to sustain that level of productivity, but before he went down, man, he was playing some really good football. Then you just think about it. He's a great leader. He's got that championship pedigree. Look, he's the only national champion on the team. Him coming back is huge for this team. But I wouldn't be mad if somebody picked him for their defensive MVP. But I'm still, I look at Justin Jefferson again in the limited snaps that he played, which, again, he played a lot of snaps, but you guys get what I mean when I say that. 61 tackles, 2 sacks, a forced fumble. This guy is productive. He's literally, like a heat-seeking missile. I think a lot of people keep saying he runs 4.3. I don't know if he was timed at that, but he definitely looks like it. It's hard not to pick an inside backer with that type of skill set, especially in this system that lets these guys just go be athletes. So, Chase, I'm not gonna lie. Right now, I think Justin Jefferson, Keon, ZB, I think those are all really good picks. Even LT. Think about it. If LT just finishes some of those plays last year, his production looks so much better on paper, right? Obviously, still was very productive, but you get what I'm saying. I would probably lean LT, Justin, Keon, or ZB. Out of those 4 guys, I need to narrow it down, but that's where I'm leaning. Chase, you got any idea who you would pick?
It's kind of hard. You brought up a really good points, Christian. The number one player I was kind of look at a little bit that kind of caught my eye was LT Overton. I think he was a very interesting player, someone you just really couldn't put out of his element, no matter where he was out in the field. The opposing team felt it. Now, I think he's going to have a bigger step in his role for this year because of there's so much pressure with this defense. Heck, a lot of people feel like this defense could average under 25 a game. And that's an interesting number for me, but I would say LT Overton for sure. Justin Jefferson is another one you had brought up. I think he's a very interesting player. I don't know. I just feel like it was more of a collective effort. You usually with Alabama defenses, you see that dominant player. That's just you can't count them out, and everyone else kind of follows suit. I feel like everybody had a role to play, and that might be a success, and that's not a bad thing. And maybe that might be for this year because I feel like there's not this like dominant player that can like really put themselves out there. Maybe if we see Keon Sapp, maybe, but I feel like as time will tell, we'll have to see.
Yeah, then that's kind of what I was getting at too, is that like I feel like I don't know if I see like one guy right now that jumps off the sheet that just makes you go, oh yeah, he's our guy, right? I feel like you got 4, 5 names that immediately you go, oh, they're all going to be really good this upcoming year. But I can't. It's hard for me to narrow it down to one being better than the others, at least right now. So I want to get y'all's thoughts on that. But first, let's go to the phone lines, 205-342-9904. First up, we got Tommy. Tommy, welcome in.
Hey, Tristan, how are you today?
I'm good. Tommy, how are you?
Great. You stole one of my picks.
Uh-oh. Well, I threw out probably a handful, so I'm sorry.
Well, yeah,
who would it be?
LT.
Oh, okay.
LT.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
Then I'm going to go with, well, yeah, but on the back side, I would say Bray Hubbard. Everybody, he came on strong last year. Or I think the defensive line got to pick it up this year. Really, if they do that job and really act it and put pressure, then everybody else from linebackers and corners and safety are going to have a very, very good year or productive year, in my opinion.
Yeah, look, I'm not mad at the Bray Hubbard option either. I mean, 57 tackles, a forced fumble, 3 interceptions, 2 pass deflections, and that's all on limited snaps. Remember, he didn't take over full time until the injury to Keon Sapp, right? So, I mean, man, I'll be honest. Yeah. That's why, I mean, you look at this. I mean, there's a lot of good names there. I just don't know if one right now jumps out like, oh, is, just like, for instance, like, a few years ago, right? I mean, Will Anderson, we all know Will is the guy. Even last year, I mean, I guess it was similar to this. You didn't really know who was going to be that guy, but I feel like typically we've always had a name or two that's just a little, even though like everybody's elite, but you always had like a name or two that kind of, stood out a little bit more. Right now, I just don't know if we have that, which might not be a bad thing. I think we just have a lot of really good players and some really solid depth too.
Well, yeah, that's a positive thing. You don't have to depend on one player to do it all. I mean, I like Tim Keenan. I mean, defensive line does their job. Them two can have a great year. Everybody can have a great year. I mean, there's no wrong answer in my opinion. I mean, unless you pick the right guy to have 114 tackles, then you're the winner. But hey. We don't know that right now.
Yeah, and I mean, if you think about this, I was just going to say, I mean, like, to really separate themselves as like the MVP, I mean, defensive line wise, you probably need to be really productive, obviously in the sack category, things of that nature. Linebacker wise, boatload of tackles, some forced fumbles, interceptions, things like that. And then secondary wise, somebody who might just light it up. With obviously some interceptions there. So, I mean, if you want to really narrow it down, I mean, if you think LT can really ramp up his sack production, I definitely like that pick. I mean, if you think one of those secondary guys we named could have a big, I mean, last year, who led us in interceptions last year? I think it would have been Bray. I think his 3 would have been.
I think it was the last. He really came on the last. He had 3. I can't think on the top of my head anybody had 4.
No, I mean, Keon would have been on pace, but until he got hurt.
Yeah, got hurt.
Yeah, other than that,
I think him have a good year coming back. So it's just a lot of motivation out there. Well, like you said, we don't really have the dominant play. We did. I think we have some. It's like the old days. All right, we knew Woodrow Lowe was going to do his thing. We knew Cornelius Bennett was going to do his thing, and Derek Thomas, because they were looking for him. This year, you just can't look at one person and say, hey, if we stop him, we'll be successful. You stop him, there might be another one picking up the slack. Or you see what I'm saying? Yeah. I believe if you double team somebody, you're going to free up somebody who's just as talented to wreck time. That's how I look at it. I mean, on the defensive side of the ball.
No, I agree. No, I think you're right, man. Yeah. I definitely think you're right. I mean, even just look, I mean, really, you really got depth at every spot on this defense. I mean, the thinnest maybe would be, I guess you got some young guys, backups at linebacker, but.
Well, injuries are going to be the play of the key. how far this team go. I mean, injury always is, but I mean, we can keep the injury down to a minimum. Usually the teams we had good players went down toward the season. I honestly believe it cost us 2 national championships. When Mr. Hamilton went down, I think that hurt us. When he got hurt in the SEC championship game and I got the right player. I mean, it really, because he knew his role, he knew his time.
Yeah.
And people just don't really understand it. If you do your job, your assignment, and the other 10 people do the assignment, it runs smoothly. I mean, if somebody out and you got a conversation, no, that was so beautiful about those teams. Everybody knew the role. That's why I like Corey Raymond so much. He wasn't a superstar, but he played a good high school program, and he's a good 5-year man. He knew he wasn't going to play pro ball, but he knew his role, and he was very, very steady, Mr. Sure. So, I mean, what else would you like to know this fine Monday afternoon?
Great question. Well, 2 things, Tommy. How do you feel about this post-spring rankings from Josh Pay that we were listening to? He's got Clemson at number 1. He's got Bama at 4. I'll just read off the top 10 real quick and tell me what really draws your attention. Clemson 1, Texas 2, Penn State 3, Alabama 4, LSU 5.
Well, I'm going to get people upset. Right now, Alabama's too high.
I was going to ask you if you thought that.
Maybe 11 through 8. And right now, I don't want them like high. I want them to be hungry. And you ask me, well, who's your top 10? I was going to be a smart aleck. I was just going to read you the schedule. I'm like, number 1 team right now in my book, it's Florida State. They're going to come on back. Yeah. The next thing can be Louisiana Monroe. Those are my top 2 teams right now. I'm just going down the schedule for this year. I'm being sarcastic. But, yeah.
Fair enough.
I'm not. Well, that you ain't got to worry about it. You take care of your job, you win your games, and win your games, and win your games. You're going to get in.
Yeah.
It's like, I'm hoping the baseball softball team not hitting this stride when it comes tournament time. I know we got a regional here this weekend. I'm going to go out and try to get my tickets. I'm going to argue with them. Because for some reason, their phone system not working this morning at the university. So,
oh, man.
Oh, well. Oh, yeah. I tried calling 4 or 5 times.
Well, you better make sure they get that figured out for the weekend, man. Yeah, that's exciting. I was unsure if they were going to end up hosting, but luckily they ended up getting it.
That had a better record last year. They beat the number 2 team, won the series against them. I said, the 3 places they'll go. They'll go to Texas A&M, Oklahoma, or Florida State for the Super Regional. They'll be myself. But they got Virginia Tech coming here, and Virginia Tech came again in the season and won the league, and we split with them. So it's not easy. It's not easy regional. So
that'll be interesting. We'll definitely be on the lookout for that, though. That'll be good, though. A lot of action going on this weekend. Well, yeah, no, I'm with you though in terms of that list, though. I would probably have Bama right now preseason, just being completely transparent. I'd probably have us. I would say probably 6 through 10. To be honest with you, I would probably have us 6 through 10. Again, just for my preseason list. I feel like coming in, I feel like that's pretty fair. And if anything, that's a little bit higher than most. Most people have us 9 through 12. Very similar to where we finished the year. But the reason I'm giving us a little bit of a bump, maybe not quite as much as Josh's, is just because I feel for all the reasons that we've been naming, right? Receiver room, secondary, just those being really strong. A lot of guys coming back. A second year for this coaching staff. I think they'll be a lot more acclimated. I think there'll be a big jump.
Can the quarterback handle the job? The pressure being all on the quarterback.
Yeah,
I mean, that's the big one.
if we had a returning starter at quarterback, I think people would have us a lot more people would have us probably where Josh has us at. But I think people are a little cautiously optimistic about that. I think Ty's going to do just fine, but I mean, I totally understand people on the outside looking in being a little cautiously optimistic. I think that's fair.
No, I mean, so yeah, I mean, yeah.
Well, I
Don't get
appreciate you,
old, then
Tom.
I'll say,
Yeah, no, I appreciate you, brother. And maybe we'll see you at the softball regional this weekend.
all right.
Yes, sir. Sounds like a plan, man.
All right. Talk to you later. Roll Tom.
Yes, sir. Roll Tide. Appreciate Tommy as always. All right, we got to hit a timeout. When we come back, we keep on rolling right here. Tide 100.9, 1230, WTBC Plus, YouTube, all that coming up right here on the Miller's Edge after this quick timeout. All right, let's see what you guys got. Justin said that's a really good thing that you can't pick just one overall better than others kind of deal. Alabama's defense is going to be second to none this year, in my opinion. Yeah, I think the defense will be really solid. I mean, I was looking at the stats here. Allegedly, defensively, 306 yards per game was 22nd in FBS, 7th in the SEC. Rushing yards a game, 48th, 11th in the SEC. That's the biggest of that. I mean, we got to do a better job stopping the run and being more consistent with that. But I'm telling you, if you go back and watch, I mean, a lot of it was a quarterback running game. Not all of it, clearly, but a lot of yardage did come from that. Let's see, passing yards a game, 16th FBS, second in the SEC, and points per game, 10th in the country, 4th in the SEC at 17.4. So you got some strong numbers there. But definitely need to clean up the consistency. And it really is consistency. There's times, I mean, we did a really good job stopping the run. Other times, not so much. More of a consistency thing. Let's see. There's another thing I wanted to hit. Let me see. Let's see what else we got here.
So you can protect yourself and your benefits. Never respond to mail notifying you of a false claim in your name. Never answer a text message asking you to verify your account. And only respond to official Alabama Department of Labor's social media pages. Report fraud at labor.alabama.gov/fraud. Brought to you by the Alabama Department of Labor, ABA, and the station. The Alabama Department of Labor is an equal opportunity employer program. Auxiliary aids and services available upon request to individuals with disabilities. Dial 711 for TTY accessibility.
Hey, it's Christian Miller, and I want to tell you about our great friends over at Brian Harding Construction. Located in the heart of Tuscaloosa, Brian Harding Construction is woman-owned and strong as steel. A specialty manufacturing firm with expertise in structural steel fabrication, ASME code piping and vessels, CNC machine work, welding, laser cutting, pipe fitting, industrial maintenance, and crane rental. With a proven track record of over 30-plus years of experience, no one is better fit for the job. For an evaluation, contact Brian Harding Construction today at 205-752-9611. Again, that's Brian Harding Construction at 205-752-9611.
Tide 100.9 Tuscaloosa weather.
Mostly cloudy with periods of rain and a few thunderstorms this afternoon and tonight. The high today 76, the low tonight 60. Tomorrow mostly cloudy, a good chance of showers, maybe a thunderstorm or two. The high tomorrow at 77. I'm James Spann on the ABC 3340 Weather Center on Tide 100.9. It's 72 degrees in Tuscaloosa.
This is Miller's Edge on Tide 100.9.
And welcome back into this Monday edition of Miller's Edge, Tile 100.9, 1230 WTBC. Real quick reminder, don't forget about our friends over at R&R Cigars. If you guys are in the market for some premium cigars, check out R&R Cigars. They've got the best humidor in the Southeast. Plus, if you're looking for a place to go watch your favorite sporting events, you got baseball, softball still going on, NBA playoffs. Maybe we'll bring that up here in a second, Chase, because, man, you talk about Cleveland getting waxed yesterday. Man, if you need a place to go watch any of those, go check out R&R Cigars. Again, 2703 Gary Fix Street is where you can find them here in Tuscaloosa. It's a big old mansion. You can't miss it. They've got a wraparound porch, plenty of TVs, plus over 160 bourbons to choose from that you can pair up with your cigar. I'm telling you, you can't beat it. Can't miss this opportunity. Plus, you need to go to their website, too, if you're not local, because they've got all types of deals for you right there. rnrcigars.com, 20% off, I believe, when you do a 20 pack or more bundle. They've got free shipping on orders over $100. So I'm telling you, deals after deals after deals, all there on their website, rnrcigars.com. Plus, in person, they always got some great things going on. Again, that is R&R Cigars, the official cigar provider of Alabama football since 2014. Chase, I'm looking at some other post-spring top 25 lists. Here's one from what's his name? Is it Ari? I think from On3, Ari Wasserman. Here's his list, Chase. I can try to pull this up over on the YouTube as well. He's got Penn State number 1. A lot of people love Penn State. He's got Texas 2, Clemson 3. Like I said, though, I mean, you keep seeing those 3 in that top 5 range. Ohio State 4, LSU 5, Georgia 6, Notre Dame 7, Alabama 8, Oregon 9, and Illinois at number 10. So very interesting there. Chase, I don't know if have you come out with your top 10, top 20 list yet? Have you been working on that at all? Have you been thinking about it, or you haven't really been too concerned with it yet?
I've been kind of looking at it a little bit. It's kind of hard with so many variables. It wasn't like this a few years ago. I could just tell you off the rip. But now with people leaving left and right, you don't know what's going on. And I commend Josh Payton and so many others that are putting the rankings out so early. You know, like it's just I don't know how they do it. But
I'll be honest, it's tough. I don't even I'm nervous about even trying to make mine because I'm like, man, like I don't even know. Because I'll be honest, once you get out, I'm sticking to top 10 when we do come out with it. I'm going to probably do top 10, and I'm not going past that because it's just, I mean. Just like Josh was saying, if you think about it, if you go and compare all these lists, like go back to 2024's list, top 25 post-spring list, and compare it after the year, I mean, I'm pretty sure Florida State was probably the biggest bust for everybody. Everybody probably had Florida State way up there on their top 25 list. So then obviously we know how that season ended up going for them. I'll be honest with you, though, speaking of them, obviously, we've got plenty of time to do this, but we'll end up breaking them down and talking about them. I hope people don't overlook that game. I think I heard, I forgot who it was. Was it why are you guys talking about like trap games or something like that? And I know a lot of people. It's interesting. A lot of people, obviously, I'm picking South Carolina for that, but I hope we're not overlooking a team like Florida State because I feel like some people kind of have been chased. And you talk about a team that. You definitely got to be careful with. You can't go off what they did last year because they've got talent. I mean, they've got players, right? They just, for whatever reason, were just all over the place last year. I'd argue that definitely could be a trap game. But anyway, we've got plenty of time to dive into that. But anyway, Ari's got Alabama at number 8. That's probably around the range I would probably feel comfortable going with Alabama preseason right now. As confident as I feel with a lot of areas on this team, there's still a couple things that I just definitely want to see as the season progresses. And again, if you pull up our schedule, I mean, schedule's not necessarily the easiest. Matter of fact, I'm kind of curious in terms of strength of schedule for this upcoming year. I don't know if you've seen that, Chase. I don't even know what it is for 2025. Obviously, last year we had a tough one, but let's see. ESPN's top 40 strength of schedule ratings for 2025. So according to ESPN, let's look at it, and I'll share this with the stream. They've got Oklahoma, number 1, Florida 2. Florida can't catch a break. Poor Billy Napier, man. They've been dealing with a tough schedule for a minute now. Arkansas, Wisconsin, Vanderbilt, Mississippi State, South Carolina. If you see a trend here, Chase, if people want to keep talking about the SEC is overrated, well, all you got to do is look at the top 40 strength of schedule, and you quickly realize it consists nothing of the top 10 at least consists nothing of other than SEC teams. It's all SEC except for Wisconsin, and that's it. Wisconsin's the only team in there. So clearly the SEC is as dominant as ever. We're sitting at number 11. So, definitely a tough schedule. Where does Clemson come in at? Because everybody's all high on Clemson's got they're 34. It's a joke, man. But Michigan's behind them. So I don't know what that says about the Big Ten, but I don't think they're as big and bad as some people might say. If a team like Michigan, who's in the Big Ten, is sitting all the way down at 38, I believe. They're at 38. Something like that. Wait, I just had it pulled up. So I've got so many tabs pulled up. I'm confused now. There we go. Yeah, 38 versus all the SEC teams. I mean, literally, I think the lowest SEC team on this list would be Missouri at 25. So that's what happens when you got a conference as deep as SEC, man. Just beat up on each other every week. All right, we already got to hit another timeout. We come back, we keep things rolling. Plus, we talked last week a little bit about the face of college football. Well, it looks like J.D. Pickell, he lumped it all together. He did his face of college football, or broke it down, but he included players and coaches. So maybe we'll dive into that and get y'all's thoughts on that. I think we came to a consensus. Kirby is definitely a safe pick for coaches, but kind of intrigued on seeing what players. I mean, off the top of my head, Jeremiah Smith from Ohio State. Ryan Williams, a very popular guy. Took college football by storm last year as a 17-year-old. Could he do it again next year? We'll see. We'll talk about that list coming up right here on the Miller's Edge. Tide 100.9, 1230, WTBC.
.365 24/7. You'll find road and utility crews, tow truck, law enforcement, and first responders working along Alabama's roadway.
We're making improvements and helping our communities stay connected.
We're working hard to make sure you're safe on the road. Now we need your help to make sure we're safe too.
Alabama's move over law requires you to move over a lane when you see flashing lights on the roadside. And if you can't safely move over, please slow down.
Visit drivesafealabama.org, brought to you by the Alabama Department of Transportation, Alabama Broadcasters Association, and this station.
Are you receiving unemployment? Your benefits could be at risk. Here's how you can protect yourself and your benefits. Never respond to mail notifying you of a false claim in your name. Never answer a text message asking you to verify your account. And only respond to official Alabama Department of Labor's social media pages. Report fraud at labor.alabama.gov/fraud. Brought to you by the Alabama Department of Labor, ABA, and the station. The Alabama Department of Labor is an equal opportunity employer program. Auxiliary aids and services available upon request to individuals with disabilities. Dial 711 for TTY accessibility.
From our home base in Birmingham, Alabama, we are here treating patients from every generation across the United States and from around the world. We're here for the rookies and the dreamers, trying to make a name for themselves. We're here for the achievers,
who are resilient
and won't take no for an answer. We're here for the coaches,
athletic trainers, and mentors who are shaping the next generation of legends. We are here for you, aggressively pursuing victory over injury.
Learn more at andrewsportsmedicine.com.
Hey, Bama fans, this is quarterback Jalen Milroe for my friends at Tuscaloosa Chrysler, Jeep, Dodge, Ram. Before you shop anywhere else for a Dodge Ram truck, a Jeep, a Dodge Challenger, or a Dodge Charger, shop local. An amazing selection of new and pre-owned vehicles are on the lot now. Go see for yourself at 550 Skyland Boulevard East in Tuscaloosa, or you can shop online at TuscaloosaCDJR.com. At Tuscaloosa Chrysler, Jeep, Dodge, Ram, you pick it out and we'll work it out. Roll Tide!
The Alabama Securities Commission protects you from financial fraud. Anyone asking you for investment money must be licensed. You're careful with your money. Fraudsters aren't. Before you invest, call our hotline at 1-800-222-1253 to verify the licensing of the person making an offer and the product. Don't lose your hard-earned money. Learn to protect yourself at asc.alabama.gov. Paid for by the Investor Protection Trust and brought to you by the Alabama Broadcasters Association and this station.
Serving part-time in the Army National Guard has led to a lot of firsts for me. It paid for me to be the first person in my family to go to school. That education got me to the first day at my dream job, which I can still hold while I serve part-time. That job And the home loan benefits I got from the Army National Guard helped me buy my first house. I also know that I will be one of the first to respond if my community ever needs me.
Sponsored by the Alabama Army National Guard. Aired by the Alabama Broadcasters Association and this station.
Hey, it's Christian Miller, and I want to tell you about our great friends over at Brian Harding Construction. Located in the heart of Tuscaloosa, Brian Harding Construction is woman-owned and strong as steel. A specialty manufacturing firm with expertise in structural steel fabrication, ASME code piping and vessels, CNC machine work, welding, laser cutting, pipe fitting, industrial maintenance, and crane rentals. With a proven track record of over 30-plus years of experience, no one is better fit for the job. For an evaluation, contact Brian Harding Construction today at 205-752-9611. Again, that's Brian Harding Construction at 205-752-9611.
This is Miller's Edge on Tide 100.9.
And welcome back into Miller's Edge, Tide 100.9, 1230 WTBC, presented by the Good Feet Store, America's arch support experts. Chase, I definitely want to dive back into that. I know we talked about it a little bit last week, but the whole face of college football mostly looked really at, coaching and stuff like that. But J.D. Piquel put out a video today, and I thought it was pretty interesting as well. And I want to dive in and get his thoughts on that. Again, Kirby Smart typically is the name thrown around, but when you start looking at some of these other programs and players, and you really think about players too. I mean, from a player perspective, that's kind of what I want to turn the focus to a little bit and kind of switch it up. I mean, who we even say is the face of college football from a player perspective, right? I mean, I don't know if any one person really jumps out in my mind. I mean, I know Arch Manning has a lot of popularity to him, but I don't think I would necessarily put him there yet, right? I mean, if he has a big year this year, sure, you could probably pencil him down there. But, I mean, Jeremiah Smith stands out a lot, obviously, national champion, freshman phenom at receiver. You normally hear freshman phenom and automatically think Ryan Williams, but this guy kind of has a leg up right now because he's also a national champion. So let's go to J.D. Piquel and get his thoughts in terms of this whole face of college football argument.
Who is going to be the face of the 2025 college football season? I want to make this distinction at the top, though. The face of the sport and the face of a respective season, to me, usually different things. Like, I think the face of the sport, to me, you have to be able to write a book about that person and have several different college football seasons as different chapters. Like, to me right now, the face of the sport is Kirby Smart. Because when you talk about college football and what he is to college football, there's a lot of different things to say. Last year's SEC championship, the 2 national championships he has to his name, all that to me adds up to him being currently the face of the sport. Kind of got the torch passed in some ways from Nick Saban. That's the current status right now to me. You speak to the face of the sport, I think a lot of times it is coach over player. Because to me, like to be the face of the sport, it's got to be like an August to August runway when it comes to how we talk about you. You can have a great year, but like the Joe Burrow year, for example, for LSU, he was awesome. And for that season, he was the face of the sport. But I'm not talking about 2018 being the Joe Burrow LSU experience as much. I'm not talking about 2020 because Joe Burrow was off in the NFL. So those things to me are different. Now, I will say, Tim Tebow was the face of the sport for a while. I think Johnny Manziel was the face of the sport for that 2-year run. I think you can make a case for Baker Mayfield being the face of the sport in a very, very condensed part of his career. I do think, though, speaking to the face of the sport, if Ryan Day and Ohio State win a national championship in 2025, like they're favored to do right now in Vegas, that conversation becomes a lot more interesting. Because at that point, you say, well, Ryan Day went back-to-back in national championships. Well, hey, the sport of college football starting to shift a little bit more north with the Big Ten having, at that point now, 3 national championships in the last 3 years. At that point, I think you can at least open up the discussion of, is Ryan Day becoming the face of the sport? Another conversation for another time. But when it comes to the face of a college football season, to me, what stands the test of time in this discussion is, do we refer to your season as the blank year? The Cam Newton year, the Reggie Bush year at USC, the Joe Burrow year at LSU, the Tim Tebow year. And Tim Tebow, I think, was also a face of the sport candidate. But my criteria for this, in addition to that, is, did we see you coming a little bit? Like, I don't think you can be the face of a season if we get on the hype train in the month of October. Not saying you can't still have a great year, but to me, that I have to be able to get on the hype train during media days, have the hype train during the preview magazine part of the calendar year in college football, and then ride that thing all the way out up until January, December. That's the other part of this. I think you got to have some postseason success to be the face of a season. Like, I need you to dictate my plans. Christmas, New Year's Day, I need to say, you know what? I got to watch so-and-so playing. I got to watch what Texas is doing. I got to watch what Ohio State is doing. I got to watch what Georgia is doing because of this specific player. I think when you have the face of a season kind of player, a lot of the time, you're sort of forced to watch that guy, right? Like, no matter what you thought about Johnny Manziel when he was at A&M for that Heisman run, you were forced to watch him. No matter what you thought about Joe Burrow, you were forced to sit down and watch that dude. Cam Newton, same thing. And when you sat down and watched them, they delivered in a massive way. So even if you were hate watching, you were watching and saying, well, number 2 for Auburn's playing. I got to watch this right now. This is going to be something a little bit different. I will secede this point, though. The cover magazine part of this is not a non-negotiable. It is a helpful indicator. Like, we didn't have Cam Newton on our radar. We didn't have Joe Burrow on our radar quite as much as we did when the season got rolling. But I got to know about you earlier on in the year as opposed to later in the year is my whole point there. So in 2025, I spoke to every season not having a face. 2025 will not be one of those years. 2025 will have a face of the college football season. And I think it's going to be Arch Manning because I think Texas is going to be really, really good. I think there's the hunger of what Texas has right now internally of wanting to get over the hump and compete for a national championship, play for a national championship. Think about all the hype around Arch Manning. And we have spoken against it on this show because I think a lot of it is, quite frankly, not fair to him. I don't think it's really fair to the fact that he hasn't even been given the keys officially yet at Texas in terms of him playing game 1 for Texas just yet. He'll be the starter, obviously. You heard him saying. He hasn't even entered into his first full year as the guy. And people are already saying he's the number 1 pick in next year's draft. We've already talked about that. But my point being, all the almost like mystique around Arch, all the story arc around Arch Manning, the lore, all that. Hey, last name is Manning, doesn't really do social media. There's some mystery there, doesn't do the camps, doesn't do all this and that. And then he eventually gets to Texas. And if they compete for a national championship, if the hype meets delivery, Arch Manning will be unavoidable. He already is unavoidable to a little bit. You think you're being force-fed Arch Manning content right now? Brother, you have not seen the half of it. You will not be able to walk by a television screen that has ESPN or Fox on it and not see a commercial or a segment during First Take or any given show will be somehow working in Arch Manning into their content. I promise you. Now, if that happens, we will do our very best to be responsible and measured in how we talk about Arch Manning. But just so we're all aligned here, I think Texas is going to be really good. And I think Arch Manning having success in 2025, even if he doesn't have any, like, ridiculous numbers, if he plays well and Texas is good, both things that I think will happen, Arch Manning will be the face of college football here in 2025. Now, if it's not Arch Manning, there's a lot of candidates. Ohio State, between Jeremiah Smith and Caleb Downs, speaking to the lore, we've talked about both those guys being top 5 picks really since last season. Caleb Downs is going to be the best defensive player in college football. Jeremiah Smith has a chance to be the best wide receiver to ever play football, college or pro, period. So there's some of that involved. And then all the quarterbacks, too, that have a chance to break through. I don't see us sitting here at the end of the college football year and say, man, it just felt a little bit ambiguous. I don't know who last year's face was. Like, there's so many guys that are on the doorstep, from a Garrett Nussmeier to a DJ Lagway to a Lenore Sellers to a Cade Klubnik, Drew Aller. There's so many names to where if one of those teams competes for a national championship, if one of those guys plays at a Heisman caliber level this season, at that point you say, yeah, that guy's probably the face of the sport. So I think it's Arch, but again, to put it simply here, I do not see a world where we don't have a face of the 2025 college football season. And to be real now, I think that's fun for the sport. Like, good for the sport, bad for the sport, say what you want. But I think that's fun for the sport in a lot of ways because you can then have a conversation with your cousins who don't even watch college football at Christmas and say, hey, how about Arch, huh? Hey, how about what Arch Manning is doing right now in college football? And they'll know what you're talking about because, again, they will have it just delivered to them on a silver platter. And at some point in time, will have had their interest piqued, whether it's against their will or not, sat down, watched Arch Manning or watched whoever ended up being the face, and they will be able to get on the hype train. So that's our take on this whole thing.
Chase, I don't know, man. So he included the players in there. That's why I wanted to play that, because I thought that was interesting. I was thinking, I'm like, man, I don't really know player-wise other than Jeremiah Smith, Ryan Williams. They're, electric players. They come to mind. I mean, Jeremiah Smith, I've got a lot of expectations for that guy. I mean, I can't say enough about, just all the tools that he has, man, as a football player. That dude is definitely special. Very similar thing with Ryan Williams. But, you just look at Jeremiah Smith, I think the size just stands out because he's, man. But when you hear that, I'll be honest with you. I'm just going to flat out say it. I don't think it's going to be Arch Manning. I don't think it's going to be Arch Manning. Can I say his name right? Goodness gracious. I don't think it's going to be him. I think it's more of a deal where he just has so much talk, so much hype, so much buzz around his name. He's had that for the past couple of years since really he got to college. I feel like people are kind of riding off of that. Now, obviously, if Texas is one of the top teams, it's only going to increase that hype. But in terms of being the face of college football, I don't know if I'm feeling that. I would put more stock in the whole Ohio State deal with, Jeremiah Smith, Caleb Downs. That tandem, you got literally arguably the best offensive player on your team and the best defensive player. To me, that has a little bit more steam than I would say Arch Manning. Arch Manning is just, me, like I said, it's just hype. In your opinion, Chase, hearing that, what were your thoughts? Now, he did say he feels like right now Kirby is just the go-to. Which I get, Kirby still riding on the, the things that they did with the back-to-back championships and everything we mentioned last week when we talked about this. But in terms of throwing players in that whole conversation, do you feel like there's a player that comes to mind? Do you agree with JD with the Arch Manning pick? What are your thoughts on that, Chase?
I feel like Arch, it's just too early. He hasn't really hatched as a player, really hasn't gotten on the field in terms of that's that star that could really be for college football. And I feel like his personality doesn't even match that. Maybe like a Caleb Downs, someone that has proven it both at Alabama and Ohio State. Obviously, Jeremiah Smith, man, he's just one of them dogs. And then we can't forget Ryan Williams, man, Hollywood for sure. But like I said earlier in the show, there isn't really a definite player that is like, oh, he's the logo, he's the player like you watch day in and day out, because there's so many, right? It's not defiant. But to say that Arch is one of those players, I think we should pump the brakes on it. I feel like we should put a season under his belt, then we can review it and be like, okay, he did this for Texas, he got him this far, he did this XYZ for their offense, he's an X-rated player, because we don't know. Because if you look at last season, he wasn't really that defiant player when he got on the field. It was like, oh, he should stay in, because he was always battling with Quinn Ewers, right? I don't know if your thoughts on it, Christian. Did you feel like Arch was the better quarterback, or maybe if he would have got in last year, it would have been a different scenario?
Man, that's a good question. That's tough, man. Do I feel like he was better? I don't know if I would necessarily say better. I think he's definitely a very talented quarterback. I thought Quinn was solid. Obviously, he had his ups and downs, just like everybody else. But did Arch do enough for me to say, oh, he should be out there? I don't know if I'd necessarily go as far as saying that. I feel like it was pretty close, in my opinion. Obviously, Arch had that element to his game where, you could let him use his legs. That's where they used him at times, for sure. But with that being said, yeah, I think you're 100% right. I think it's a little too early, and I think people are just riding off of, oh, well, we've been talking about him. We know his potential. Now he's taking over the keys to this Texas program that a lot of people have them, top 2, top 3 team, winning the national championship potentially. So I get it, right? You combine those two things together, all the hype previously with, potential very successful year, potentially going to a national championship. Yeah, I get that, but I don't know. To be like the face of college football, I don't know. Think about the other names he put out there. Like Tim Tebow, right? Tim Tebow was a dog in college, man. I'd almost even go, think about Cam Newton too, right? I hate to say that. I know we're Bama right here, but you can't deny it. I don't know. I mean, I see it, Chase, but I don't see it, if that makes sense. To me, like I said, I'd put more stock in the whole Ohio State thing. I see Jeremy saying Ohio State is replacing OC and DC. Not sure how good they'll be this season. Coaching changes, sure. I mean, you definitely want to consider that, man. But you talk about the talent they have, and they still got their head coach. I mean, the culture should be there. I don't know. I think they'll be a solid team. I definitely think they'll be a solid team. Vegas thinks so. Allegedly, they've got the highest odds to win a national championship. So, I mean, a lot of people still are high on them. That being said, we got to hit a timeout. When we come back, we'll wrap things up on this Monday edition of the show. We'll get y'all's thoughts on this. Who do y'all think? I know it's real late for a question, but as we close things out, who do y'all think is going to be the face of college football? And do we have that guy here in Tuscaloosa? We'll find out this season, but we'll talk about it on the other side of this break. Tide 100.9, 1230, WTBC.
Don't buy your new or pre-owned Mercedes-Benz from anywhere other than Mercedes-Benz of Tuscaloosa. Their local team provides a...
Kenji says Ryan has that it factor. Yeah, he definitely does. I mean, if anything, if I was going to say somebody here having, I think we all could agree Ryan would probably be the pick. Really special player. So yeah, I think, but I would say maybe the year after next for Ryan, like his last year. Obviously, we know he's leaving that as a junior, but I definitely think between him and Jeremiah Smith, man, they're both just so talented. No, you're right, Jeremy. OC would definitely make a big impact. Who do Ohio State hire? I wouldn't be shocked if we see some Clemson talk start coming back. Again, everybody's already high on them. I can see the same thing. Cade Klubnik has a big year. Think about it. As good as their team or their roster is, playing in that cupcake of a conference, they should probably light up the stat sheet. I wouldn't be shocked if Cade Klubnik is a name you start seeing a lot about. I just don't know how much you put into that, knowing that literally they don't play anybody. Wait, you said they... Well, let's see who they... Brian Hartline, they promoted him. Let's see what to know about him. Oh, wait, let me pay attention. We might be about to come back here in a second.
Practices, visit straighttalk.com/terms. Copyright 2025 Verizon.
Hey, it's Christian Miller, and I want to tell you about our great friends over at Brian Harding Construction. Located in the heart of Tuscaloosa, Brian Harding Construction
worked with the receivers last year, also the co-offensive coordinator alongside
expertise in structural steel fabrication, ASME code piping and vessels, CNC machine work, welding, laser cutting, pipe fitting, industrial maintenance, and crane rentals. With a proven track record of over 30 plus years of experience, no one is better fit for the job. For an evaluation, contact Brian Harding Construction today at 205-752-9611. Again, that's Brian Harding Construction at 205-752-9611.
At Ohio State the whole time.
Tide 100.9 Tuscaloosa weather. Mostly cloudy with periods of rain and a few thunderstorms this afternoon and tonight. The high today 76.
Coordinator in 23.
Tomorrow mostly cloudy, a good chance of showers, maybe a thunderstorm or two. High tomorrow at 77. I'm James Spann on the ABC 3320 weather.
Oregon, Penn State should overtake or could. Yeah, no, I think Penn State
is Miller's Edge on Tide 100.9.
And welcome back into the final minutes here on the Miller's Edge, Tide 100.9, 1230 WTBC, presented by the Good Feet Store, America's arch support experts. Hope everybody is doing well. Hope everybody's enjoyed the show this far. I know we're about to close things out, but we're talking about faces of college football. This time we're including players. JD Piquel's pick. I almost said Quinn Ewers. Arch Manning. I mean, look, I see it, but I don't see it. I'm leaning more towards the whole Ohio State thing. I mentioned, hey, maybe we have that pick here in Tuscaloosa. I think we all could agree, Chase, that clearly that would be Ryan Williams in terms of being the face. I mean, you're just talking about a guy who's electric, took college football by storm last year. Definitely think it could be him. I mean, it's hard to judge, like talking about being the face. I mean, like let's go back and let's look at a few more. Johnny Manziel. He beats Alabama. I mean, he's doing something we haven't really seen. I mean, you got this small, sneaky quarterback, just literally making play after play that makes you literally question yourself. Like, did I just see that right? I mean, like I remember vividly back in what year would that have been? Maybe 2012. It was either 2012. When did we play or when did they play us here? They came to Tuscaloosa. Whatever year. It was either 2012 or 12 or 13 that I came here. I was on a visit, and I just remember we lost to Texas A&M, and I just remember seeing Johnny Manziel, man, just shred and carve our defense. And I was in shock. Like, I'm like, man, it's crazy. Like, I'm like, you don't expect this out of an Alabama defense. Then I realized, I'm like, at some point, man, we just got to give this guy credit. I'm like, at first, I'm like, oh my, this dude just keeps getting lucky. But then as he kept making play after play, I'm like, nah, this dude is on another level. I mean, he definitely was probably face of college football, I would say. I mean, those couple years that he just was doing all that, was it Manziel, Mania, whatever? I don't know. I forgot what all that stuff. But, I mean, I look at him, and he definitely took college football by storm. I mean, trying to think, man. Who else are we missing? I mean, like, let's think about even the past few years. I mean, obviously, Coach Saban was the face. But trying to think if there was, like, anybody on any of the teams I played on or even after that you would – I mean, like, Devontae Smith, would he have been worthy of that title chase? What do you think about that one? Or do you think, nah, not quite. Close, but not quite. What are your thoughts on a guy like Smitty in 2020?
Maybe it could be a candidate, but it's so hard to tell because there's so many other like candidates for that particular season. If you look back, I don't know. That's a good choice though, but it's hard.
Yeah,
the face,
19. I mean, you got to go Joe Burrow, right? Joe Burrow, you easily go 9. But see, that's the thing. It's like some guys are just more polarizing than others, even when they're like extremely productive. That's what's really difficult. Because like I'd argue, like Smitty, obviously, he was. I mean, running through every stat category and record you could think of in 2020. He wins a Heisman and. Still just I don't know. It as great as it was, I don't know if I would necessarily view him as like the face of college football that year. Definitely a hell of a year and obviously plenty of accomplishments. Jeremy in the YouTube chat says Derrick Henry. That year, 2015? I don't remember all his numbers. Obviously, he was a workhorse, man. I mean, just a dog. Would we have considered him the face that year? I think that one's not a bad choice, but I think a lot of it also, not only was he a dog and was lighting up the stat sheet, Chase, but I also think because you got a running back who's 6'3", 245 pounds, like his sheer stature obviously really, contributed to that as well, because you're just like, man, this is unlike anything we've really ever seen. Obviously, maybe in the past, somebody, but you get what I'm saying. You just don't really see that out of a running back, and here he is. Just running through people, running around people, running by people. That's not a bad pick. Kenji says Tua before he got hurt. I feel like Tua had college football. I feel like he took them by storm somewhat. I don't know if I would say a face. That's tough, man. I want to keep thinking about this. So guys that came through here that would have been or were the face of college football. Definitely very interesting. All right, we're winding down, so I'm about to get out of here. But lastly, Jeremy followed up and said, Derrick Henry's a once-in-a-lifetime running back. Hey, man, I'm not mad at that. One of my favorite players, if not the favorite guy I played with, just, with everything collectively, obviously his skill set, what he did on the football field, off the field, his leadership. Dude checked every box. So that being said, we got to get out of here. Appreciate everybody tuned in via Tide 100.9, the app, Go 30 WTBC, and also over on our YouTube channel. We do it all again in 22 hours right here on the Miller's Edge, presented by the Good Feet Store, America's Arch Sport Experts. See you guys tomorrow.